I didn't plan to tell anyone about this, not because I'm afraid they won't believe me, but because some part of me thinks that talking about it might draw that thing back. Like the more I remember, the more I give it permission to follow. But I can't keep it inside anymore. Maybe if I spill it all out, every detail, every chill, every sound, I'll finally be able to sleep again. Maybe.
There's a building on the edge of my town that people like to pretend doesn't exist. A massive, rotting structure half swallowed by vines. Its windows like empty, dead eyes staring out at nothing. For years, everyone who lives nearby walks a little faster when they pass. Kids dare each other to touch the rusted front gate and run. Locals call it the Old Ward. It used to be part of a psychiatric facility. At least that's what the elders say. There are no official records of it. No plaques, no signs. No one talks about what happened inside. And yet, for some reason that still feels stupid in hindsight, I decided to go there. Not at night, not at first. I went at dusk. The sky was this bruised purple, the kind that makes everything look more fragile. I remember thinking it would be fine, that the worst thing I might find was a raccoon or maybe some creepy drawings from teenagers who broke in. I wasn't even planning to enter the building. I just wanted photos for a project I was doing. Architectural decay, texture, mood. But when I got there, standing at that sagging iron gate, something felt wrong. Not dangerous, not threatening, just expectant. Like the building already knew I was coming, and it was waiting.
I pushed through the gate. It groaned like it was in pain and stepped onto the cracked stone walkway. The air was cooler there, unnaturally so. Not windy, not breezy, just colder, like the temperature dropped the moment I entered the property line. I shrugged it off and walked closer. That's when I heard it. A single, low, drawn-out moan. Human. Close. But not close enough for me to see where it came from. I froze. For a moment, everything around me was completely silent. Not even birdsong, not the hum of insects, nothing. Then it came again, longer this time. A sound like someone in pain, someone who had been hurting for a very long time. It didn't sound like it came from the house. It sounded like it came from beneath it. I took a step back, considering turning around, leaving the photos for another day, but something pulled me forward. The rational part of my brain said it was curiosity. The irrational part whispered that the moan was for me. I kept walking.
The front doors weren't locked. Of course they weren't. One gentle push, and they scraped open across the warped wooden floor, releasing a puff of stale, ancient air that smelled like mildew, rust, and something else. Something metallic. Something like old blood. My phone's flashlight cut through the darkness just enough to guide me past the entryway. The wallpaper peeled like dead skin. The ceiling sagged. Dust particles floated in the air like little ghosts drifting lazily. I took 3 steps in, and then I heard footsteps above me. Slow, dragging, uneven. It didn't sound like one person walking. It sounded like several. But the building was supposed to be empty. I swallowed hard. Maybe other urban explorers were inside. Maybe squatters. People trying to survive. People who had more right to the space than I did. I should have called out, "Hello?" Maybe, "I'm just taking pictures, I won't bother you." But fear glued my mouth shut. The footsteps stopped directly overhead. I looked up. There was a hole in the ceiling where the plaster had fallen away, revealing rotting boards. Something flickered across the gap, something small, quick, almost like a face pulling back just as my light touched it. A harsh chill crawled across my spine, and then came the second sound. Chains. Dragging. Somewhere deeper inside. Heavy chains linked to something large, something that wasn't walking normally. I should have run then. I know that now. But fear can do weird things. It can freeze you or pull you deeper into danger. Somehow, I stepped farther inside.
The long corridor stretched ahead like the throat of a beast. My footsteps echoed softly, swallowed by the thick walls. The air smelt worse, stronger, like decay soaked so deep into the foundation that it became part of the building. Halfway down, I noticed something. The walls were scratched. Not randomly, not by animals, but in lines, in tall, vertical rows. Too high for a normal person unless they were reaching upward, struggling, clawing. The scratches were so deep they revealed the dark wood beneath. I leaned closer and felt that cold heaviness behind me again. The feeling of someone standing too close, watching the back of your neck. My light flicked behind me. No one there. When I turned forward again, the scratching on the wall had changed. There were now fresh marks. Fresh, as in dust crumbled off them as I watched. My breath caught. Something had just made those. Something I didn't see.
I reached the stairwell at the end of the hall. It spiraled downward into complete blackness. If the moan I heard outside truly came from beneath the building, this was the only place it could have originated. The moment I stepped onto the first stair, the building groaned. Not a normal settling sound, not the creak of old wood. It was a voice-like groan, as if the entire structure exhaled with annoyance. 3 steps down, the air grew colder again. A faint vibration trembled through the rails like something huge was moving below. Then a metallic clang rang out. Chains. Closer now, so close I could almost feel them. I tightened my grip on the railing, and a single icy fingertip brushed the back of my hand. I yanked my arm back so fast I nearly dropped my phone. My flashlight shakily swept the staircase behind me. No one, nothing, just darkness. But the touch was real. I felt it, sharp, cold, deliberate. A breath I hadn't realized I was holding escaped my throat. I needed to leave. I knew that. Every instinct screamed for me to get out. But something in me, something not entirely sane, pushed me downward. I needed to see what was down there. Or maybe whatever was down there wanted me to come.
The basement stretched into long, parallel hallways, each lined with rusted metal doors with tiny viewing slits. They looked like cages, or holding cells, or patient rooms. Every door I passed had deep gouges around the handle, as if someone tried desperately to break out. The deeper I walked, the stronger the smell became. Rot, mold, something like old sweat, and something sweet. Too sweet. The kind of sweetness that comes from things decaying too long. Chains rattled softly in the distance, not dragging this time, shifting, as if someone or something heard me and turned toward the sound. My light flickered. Not battery flicker, interference flicker, like something electrical passed right through it. Then I heard breathing. Not mine, not human. Slow, wet, rattling. Coming from the room to my immediate left. The door had no lock, no chain, nothing securing it, just a handle. And from behind it, something pressed against the metal, slowly, gently,
like a face leaning toward me from the other side. I felt the shape of it through the door. A nose, a forehead, lips. The breathing grew louder, heavier. The moaning I heard earlier, it was right behind that door. I stepped back, ready to run, but the door handle twitched, then turned.
I didn't stay to see what was on the other side. I turned and sprinted down the hallway, nearly slipping on the damp concrete. Something behind the door groaned louder, the metal shaking violently, as if whatever was inside realized I was leaving. I ran faster. Chains clattered, footsteps pounded behind me, heavy, uneven, angry. The same dragging footsteps I heard from upstairs, but now they were chasing me. I reached the stairwell, heart slamming against my ribs, lungs burning. As I scrambled upward, something grabbed the bottom of my shirt. Cold, hard, strong. A hand. It yanked. I lost my balance, tumbling backward and smashing my elbow against the step. My phone skidded down a few stairs, spinning the light wildly across the walls. For a second, just for a second, I saw it. A shape rising from the darkness below. Tall, too tall, twisted in a way that defied normal posture. Chains wrapped around its torso, dragging behind as it moved. Its limbs were human-shaped, but bent wrong, as if broken long ago and left to heal incorrectly. And its face, I didn't get a good look, because the moment the light touched it, it recoiled violently, like the brightness burned it. That saved my life. I lunged upward, grabbed the railing, and pulled myself up with everything I had. I didn't dare look back. I only heard those chains scraping the stairs behind me, coming faster, faster, until I burst out of the basement and nearly slammed into a wall. The footsteps stopped the instant my feet hit the first floor. Just stopped, as if there was a line that thing couldn't cross, or wouldn't. I ran toward the front doors, but they were shut, closed, tight. I swear on everything I have that I left them open. They scraped so loudly earlier that there's no way I wouldn't have heard them close. But now they were sealed, like they hadn't been opened in decades. I shoved. I pulled. Nothing. Behind me, the moaning grew louder again. Not below, not upstairs, but inside the walls. Like the entire building pulsed with one collective breath. I stumbled backward, phone shaking in my hand as I pointed the light around the room. The scratches on the walls were deeper now, longer, fresher. Some were still flaking dust. Then I saw the writing. Not words, shapes. Symbols carved into the wallpaper. Circles, lines, overlapping figures that made my eyes hurt to look at. They weren't there before. I know they weren't. Something was changing around me, or waking. My chest tightened. Panic crawled up my throat. There had to be another exit, a broken window, a loose board, anything. I spotted a side door partially covered by fallen debris. I pushed through it, stumbling into a small utility hallway. That's when I heard the whisper, right beside my ear. So close, it actually tickled my skin. Don't run. I whipped around. No one. The lights overhead, ancient fluorescents, began to buzz. One flickered on, then another, and another. They blinked in sequence, guiding me down the hall like airport runway lights. Only they were guiding me deeper into the building, not out. Something wanted me there. Something wanted me to see more. But I didn't follow the lights. I ran the opposite direction. The hallway led to a door hanging crooked on one hinge. I shoved it open and found myself in what once was a communal patient area. A wide room with overturned chairs, broken medical carts, shattered tiles. A perfect place for an exit.
I scanned the walls and spotted a boarded up window with rotting planks so thin I could break them. Freedom. I moved toward it and froze. Because the boards had scratch marks too. Deep ones. But these weren't random clawing. They formed words. Let it out. Let me out. Let us out. My breath hitched in my throat. Whatever was down there wasn't just one thing. It wasn't just one person. It was many. And they wanted out. The chains rattled again, louder now, followed by something pounding far down the hall, coming closer. I sprinted to the window and started ripping the boards down. Wood splintered under my hands, dust filled my lungs, my fingers bled from the sharp edges. The pounding grew louder. Something was running. Fast. And it wasn't stopping. I clawed the last board loose, shoved the window up. The frame screamed, but it moved. Fresh air hit my face. I heard the chains one last time, right behind me. I didn't look. I dove out of the window and hit the ground hard, rolling through wet grass and mud. Behind me, from inside the building, something slammed into the wall so violently the whole structure shuddered. The moan that followed wasn't one voice. It was dozens, maybe hundreds, crying out at once in a layered, impossible harmony. A sound I will never forget.
I ran. I didn't care where. I didn't look back. I sprinted until my legs burned, until my chest felt like it would collapse, until the building disappeared behind twisted trees. Only when I reached the main road did I stop. A car passed, the driver staring at me like I was crazy. Maybe I was. Maybe I still am. I walked home on autopilot, shaking, filthy, bruised, and bleeding. The moment I reached my room, I locked my door. I sat on the floor, trying to calm down, but then my phone vibrated. Just once. A notification from an unknown number. It was a recording. Audio. 10 seconds long. I hesitated, but I pressed play. It was the sound of chains. Then a long, low moan. Then a whisper. You took something. Bring it back. I dropped the phone. The message deleted itself, and the number disappeared. At first, I thought the message meant I stole something physical, maybe dust from the scratching, maybe a piece of wood stuck to my clothes. But then, I checked my phone's video gallery. There was a clip I didn't record. A 9-second video of me walking in the basement hallway, taken from behind me, as if someone was holding the camera. Someone who was standing way too close. Someone who shouldn't exist. Behind me in the video, the air seemed to ripple, distort, almost like something invisible was walking just a step behind. That was 2 nights ago, and ever since, every night, when my room was completely dark, I hear it. Chains, dragging on my floor, slowly, closer, every night, always closer. Last night, I heard the whisper again, right behind my ear. You can't leave us there alone. I don't know what it wants. I don't know what I brought back with me, but something followed me home, and I have a terrible feeling.
It's not leaving. At first I thought the message meant I stole something physical, maybe dust from the scratching, maybe a piece of wood stuck to my clothes. But then, I checked my phone's video gallery. There was a clip I didn't record. A 9-second video of me walking in the basement hallway, taken from behind me, as if someone was holding the camera. Someone who was standing way too close. Someone who shouldn't exist. Behind me in the video, the air seemed to ripple, distort, almost like something invisible was walking just a step behind. That was 2 nights ago, and ever since, every night, when my room was completely dark, I hear it. Chains dragging on my floor, slowly, closer. Every night, always closer. Last night, I heard the whisper again, right behind my ear. You can't leave us there alone. I don't know what it wants. I don't know what I brought back with me, but something followed me home, and I have a terrible feeling. It's not leaving.